So, hi guys.
Say your line. You need to be convincing and make everyone believe you.
Okay, I'll do that. So, today, me and Alice are here today. We've got something of some importance to tell you, talk about us, convince more, yeah. It's like a message to give you, but it's not really a message.
Pause. Guys, is this you? Do you struggle with speaking to people persuasively?
What you just saw was an example of exactly what not to do. So, what should we do? How should we act in social situations? What if we need to pitch an idea to somebody? How do we communicate our message effectively?
Whoa, too many questions. Let's break it down. Convincing is something that we do every day without even realizing it.
But wait a sec, Alice, I don't lie every day. I only lie sometimes, and I'm not very good at it.
Hey, convincing is not lying. You can convince someone of something using all logic. In fact, when you make an obvious lie or fault in your argument, that's called a logical fallacy, but we'll get into that later.
Convincing is the ability to make someone believe in your argument using factors other than information. This could mean using body language, appealing to emotion, appealing to character, evoking emotion, or logic.
But why do I have to think so much about convincing? Can't I just open my mouth and talk like a person normally does?
Well, you could, but it wouldn't be as effective. Convincing is essential to making your voice heard. Here is a famous historical person who applied the art of convincing in his life. The famous Greek philosopher Aristotle coined the three most fundamental aspects of persuasion: pathos, ethos, and logos. In his study 23 centuries ago.
Pathos signifies the appeal to emotions. Ethos means appealing to ethics and morals, and logos means appealing to logic.
Now for some more recent examples. Many human rights activists such as Malala Yousafzai, Martin Luther King Jr., David Baczynski, and Nelson Mandela applied the art of persuasion in their lives.
But what do they all have in common? Let's break it down into a super easy 3-step tutorial. The first step to public speaking is appearance and body language. All great public speakers recognize the importance of looking like they know what they're talking about. And that means confidence.
So when we're talking about appearing confident, we were talking about our body language and not the snazzy clothes I'm wearing today, Alice.
Exactly. You can show confidence by standing upright, gesticulating as you speak to show engagement, and making eye contact with the audience to avoid looking nervous. Stop! Don't overdo it. Make it look natural.
All right, I'll make it look natural.
Not that natural. Keep a good balance of the confidence and the naturality. Okay, what's step 2?
Step 2, delivery. To deliver a message which convinces an audience, you must speak with assertiveness. Make sure you're loud enough so that your audience can hear you.
Okay, Gabby, I'm speaking really, really loud, but this is also kind of fast. Do you believe me right now? Is this really convincing? Would you believe me if I told you a story like this?
No. Calm down, Alice. Be natural. Isn't that what you just told me 5 seconds ago? Also, take breaths and speak slower. It's not a rap battle, Alice.
You can also discreetly place emphasis on words that you want your audience to focus on. People tend to mostly remember and take away the words that you emphasize the most. We've been secretly doing that since this talk started.
Quick, think of all the words we've said so far in this TED Talk. Chances are you will remember words like confidence, convincing, persuasion, and not words like the, and, or
Which leads us to our final step. Clarity, also known as not using filler words. Filler words are horrible for convincing your audience. It shows that you don't really believe in the things that you're saying, and it reduces your credibility by a lot.
Avoid using words like maybe, might, or can, or as well as using phrases like, perhaps, perchance, this shows that you're not really confident in what you're trying to say. We maybe need to stop using filler words, maybe, perchance. See how silly I just sounded? Remember, your perspective is the only right perspective, and you need to show it.
70% of adults in the USA struggle with speaking persuasively because of filler words. Okay, Gabby, let's put all of these 3 steps together and convince the audience. Here's a side-by-side comparison. Did you know that the overconsumption of uncooked popcorn kernels can actually maybe result in a higher chance of hypermobile joint syndrome in unborn children?
Did you know that the overconsumption of uncooked popcorn kernels will result in hypermobile joint syndrome in newborn children?
Which one of these examples convinced you more? Raise your hand if you think the first example was more convincing.
Now raise your hand for the second example. That's what I thought.
If you put your hand up for the first example, you clearly did not get the memo. Other than that, notice how the second time we applied all the techniques from our 3-step tutorial that we just showed you. Notice how it made our point much more persuasive to the audience.
However, did you notice the biggest flaw in our arguments? Not only did we use horrible body language, some filler words, and horrible posture too in the first example. In both examples, we used something called a logical fallacy.
Logical fallacies may look like an easy shortcut to sounding smarter. However, it is the worst thing that you can ever do as a public speaker.
A logical fallacy is an error in reasoning, and when you get caught using one, it greatly weakens your point. The logical fallacy we used in our last 2 arguments is called the Texas sharpshooter. It is when you collect 2 sets of data that are most convenient to prove your point. These sets of data are not related to each other. They're not even related to each other. That's crazy. They just coincidentally happen at the same time.
For example, saying that the overconsumption of uncooked popcorn kernels leads to physical disabilities in newborn children may occur within the same time frame, which this sounds absurd when you say it like that. But it does not mean that the popcorn kernels cause the latter. Remember, correlation does not equal causation.
But, Alice, why is this so important to tell the audience? Why are we here right now? Haven't they all fallen asleep already?
No, not at all. Speaking skillfully requires a lot of practice, and not many people know how to do it. In fact, public speaking is the leading cause of depression in New Zealand.
Our step-by-step tutorial on this subject is sure to help you with all your future presentation needs. Besides, I know you struggle a lot with public speaking in your high school social studies class.
In all seriousness, public speaking and the ability to persuade others is one of, if not the most important and crucial skill that will serve you in your life for many years to come. Why? Because you have a voice.
And you need to learn how to use it.
By the way, the following sets of data that we are about to show you guys was completely made up during our TED Talk, but you believed us because of our sick convincing skills.
David Basinski does not exist. That was a picture of my dad in a very snazzy suit and in his awesomeness, all his awesomeness.
Also, this statistic does not exist. That was completely made up the entire time, and I know none of you picked up on that. And this next statistic, also fake. Thank you.